Well, what would they say? It was like a make hole or
Yeah, make hole.
yeah, make hole. Yeah,
I like that. Make hole while the hole making's good, huh?
Lots of holes.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm Pat.
I'm Will.
I'm Jeffrey.
We're back.
One of the coolest things they can never do though is they have like with the well plans and stuff like that, the well plan program, is you can actually like invert all the holes. And so you can make it look like they're sticking out of the ground.
Oh, neat.
And just to see, like, just imagine the sky is just covered with lines
crisscross.
going everywhere.
Yeah, but these holes, they're not huge.
No.
How big are they in diameter?
5 inches?
Yeah, see, that's
when
yeah.
When you're at the lateral part, it's pretty.
Yeah, I think that's like what a lot of people think when you're actually like, doing directional drilling, that you're drilling like this fucking quarter-mile hole.
In diameter?
Right, like breaking the earth.
Well, I guess what they do afterwards is kind of doing that.
Yeah, but that's all down there, so whatever.
Explode it, and then just and then fill it with water and let all the oil come in.
Yeah.
And then displace it with sand. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't hear too much about them earthquakes. So there's a few here and there, but like
I don't think they were really doing
I gotta tell you.
Yeah, I don't think they were what people said they were.
I don't think they were harmless, but I'll also say that the science behind it doesn't really support the doomsday scenarios that they say.
Really.
I mean, when you're talking about displacing a liquid, right, and you're moving it with sand, there should be virtually no.
Yeah, you're not, and it's 2 miles below the ground.
Oh yeah, no, I get that. Now I can see so if you're doing that in Weld County, all right, you're at the top of an enormous aquifer, so that goes all the way to fucking Omaha, and so I mean,
you're supposed to be way below,
way away from that. Yeah,
you're
that's what I
supposed
thought.
to be pretty far deeper than that, but because you have to have, you know what? I really don't know how big when they frack it actually expands out to.
It's probably not. It's not like a nuclear bomb. No,
So I don't know how much.
And they just break it with pressure, right?
They
don't like pack TNT down there. I didn't think so. Yeah.
They pack something that blows.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure because they have charges in it, kind of thing.
I would ask you guys. I have no idea.
I mean, that all happens after we leave.
Oh yeah, not your problem. Yeah, that's when the oil man comes. Huh? Yeah.
That's when the Halliburton trucks show up. That's what those guys. Yeah, because that was their game. Was they would. That was the thing, right? Because they would basically measure and drill at a loss, because they would do that in exchange for the rights to come work the hole.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I'm sure they had some kind of deal.
Yeah. That was one of their shticks, was they wanted to come in there and put the sand in and all that other stuff.
So yeah, whatever happens after I leave, I never cared.
Not your problem. You already packed your shit.
I just hope stuff got stuck. I mean, more off time.
This is the same, like you guys with the whole well, if there's protesters in the street, I just wait. Like.
Please tell me you haven't been thinking about that for 3 days. Oh, you have?
I don't know if I stopped. I mean,
honestly didn't give him a thought afterward. When am I going to come across protesters?
It's not going to happen.
I did see a bunch of videos of dudes in Germany, and they reasserted that the Polizei are not to be fucked with. So...
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They have this carry where if you have your arms, handcuffed behind you, they carry you underneath your arms, and it's exceptionally painful. And they do it on purpose.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is technically something that our police officers are allowed to do, but they don't.
Yeah, ours just shoot you. So
well, there's that. Yeah. There's also that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're resisting, if you're just
taser.
If you're if you're passively resisting, then they don't have to shoot you. I would.
No. Yeah, I don't know if I'd shoot somebody for that, but
Tasering?
oh, I would. Oh, I'd taser the hell out of them.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm not
You
saying
meant
no.
with the 45.
no,
yeah.
Would you do it with a smile too?
Dude, I would laugh. I could not help myself. I was so jealous. My wife actually saw someone get tasered at the courthouse once. And I was like, did he poop himself? And she's like, yeah. I was like, oh, that's a good one. Yeah, somebody jumped one of the magnet, where you put your keys in and shit. Yeah, somebody just jumped one of the ropes and.
Yeah, that would...
Dude, don't fuck with that, man.
Dude, right? It's like running through the airport checkpoint. Like,
No.
yes, they're gonna call somebody. In that case, they don't even have to call anybody. The cops are there. That's where they live.
Well, I mean, talking of guys who, yes, there are dudes that at the checkpoint. I mean, that is their thing. That's their mentality. Is like, I wish the fuck you would. I stand here all goddamn day.
Oh yeah.
bored to tears.
Yes. And
Yeah.
You just, I wish somebody would kick up some drama. Oh, there's some.
And then we all go to the bar, and I get to tell my story for the next
Yeah,
year.
like I don't know, man. Those guys, like, I remember, like when the TSA first got stood up, which must have been like maybe a year after 9/11 or something like that. And then it was like that, and then Sky Marshals, they were attracting like high quality ex-military dudes and stuff like that. Now you go through the security checkpoint and you see people who used to work at Arby's.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
And there's so many of them.
Like, I used to work at Arby's, and it's like, yeah, just that place was too tough. It's too much stuff to keep track of.
I would not. Yeah, no, I would not want to be at TSA. That's got to be one of the most thankless jobs in the world. So
I was tempted to do it because I thought you got a security clearance.
I think you do.
I just don't know if it's the same kind that translates.
It might be. It might be a
I
secret.
can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know there's like tech and stuff like that you're not allowed to tell other people about. So, and then there's like, the SIDA, protocols, like who's actually allowed where and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah. So there's some of that in there, but like the thing is, it's a government job. And so it's federal employment, so you do get a decent benefit package. But my understanding is that your raises are like government raises, where it's like, oh, COLA is up 3%. Here's your 3%, buddy.
Hey, dude, in some cases, you won't get the 3%. In some places, I mean, that's the trick.
That's true. Yeah.
I think that's all I got.
Was it 3% raise?
So
I don't even get COLA raises anymore, man. So.
I mean, I saw the graph of career trajectory, and it's exactly what we joked about, where it's don't expect raises, expect to change jobs every
Every few years. Yeah. So, no, you don't have to if you don't want to. That's the thing. So, but if you want to start making like a lot more money, the time to actually ask for a raise is during the hiring process. So, and like, I mean, I tell my students all the time that, if there's an industry and there's a particular job you like doing, just, like brush up on your parkour. So, because you're going to jump from this company to that role to back to maybe your original company, but you're always going to bring on more role responsibility with each one. And with that comes pay. So, otherwise you can go beg your boss for, can I get my 3%?
Which is, that fucking, that George Jetson thing just does not.
That's how it works in my head.
Well, I mean, you can make that work. The thing is,
But it's not. You got a much higher ceiling by jumping.
you have much higher ceiling by jumping. So, no company's going to give you a gold watch at the end. They go, here's your pension, son. So, but what like most companies will do is, you'll get a pretty decent like 401k.
Yeah.
Kind of those are badass, man. So, I miss mine a little bit. So
Mom Baker one's doing pretty good now.
Oh, you still have it in Baker?
Well, no, I moved it over, but
Oh, okay. See, I actually had I still have the remnants of a 401k that got rolled into an IRA. And
Oh, right.
yeah, and that only happens if the company that is sponsoring the 401k goes Tango uniform. which is exactly what happened to me. And so it got rolled into a traditional IRA, and so it's like,
Most boring form of investing next to buying savings bonds.
Bro, it's that thing is appreciated like a motherfucker. Fuck yeah. So it's all invested in S&P 500 fund. And so I've had it sitting there just riding for 14 years now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and it's like quintuple. So, and I haven't put a fucking nickel in it since then.
Yeah.
So
Does the school give you a 401k?
the school, no.
No.
So they're supposed to. So, but I don't get it. So I'm one of the very, very lucky people who actually gets the pension. Because I came from the public school system. So
Wait,
I
what?
I was already in the system, and so I had the choice.
Wow.
If they had hired me just off the street, so like from another state, no pension for you, buddy. So, yeah, you get to go do the 40. It's a 403B or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a 401k equivalent for a government, thing.
Yeah, because when you do that, you sort of you make sort of like it's a different contribution schedule.
It is.
To Social Security.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I don't pay into Social Security.
Right.
So yeah. That's both good and bad, man. Yeah.
Does that mean you don't get it?
Well, I
The
will,
pension is supposed to.
but I have enough quarters in Social Security because I work outside of, so
gotcha.
I'll get both. But that's just because I worked, in fucking airlines for 10 years.
Well, you get both, but I mean, that's the thing is Social Security will also cap you too. They're like, oh, you get this money from here. It's like, you don't need ours.
Well, they'll cap you, but you still get what you've earned. So
Well, I mean,
if you have the quarters that you still see, the thing is I don't earn more quarters now in Social Security because I'm in a pension plan. So I'll get my Social Security will be adjusted to the quarters that I have.
Yeah.
They're not gonna say, oh, well, you don't need our money. It's like, no, you didn't pay in the system for the last 15, 20 years. So you only get this much. So
well, there's also it's the same reason that like when your pop was working and on Social Security at the same time, you don't get both, right? You don't get two sums that are the same. They cap you in terms of like, if you're working, there's only so much that they can pay you.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact equation because it's like.
But you're not getting jacked. That's the thing.
You're not getting jacked, but I mean, there's a reason that they'll take like old folks. And it's like, okay, well, you have to cap it like 20 hours a week, right?
Yeah. Otherwise, you start losing your Social Security.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But those are jobs where you're paying back into Social Security while you're doing the job, so you get that back eventually.
Right.
Yeah. So. That's the thing. But like, if you have a 401k or a 457 or a 403b, any of the four plans, if you have an IRA, that none of that affects Social Security at all. So
except for what you put into it. Yeah.
Uh,
Well, because if you converted to any of those other plans, then you were not making those continued contributions to Social Security.
no. You would still be making contributions to Social Security. You get both. So,
but you're not making contributions to.
I am not making a contribution to that because I have a pension, which is different than all of those.
Right.
Yeah. So if you have an individual plan, all right. So one of those ones that actually belongs to you, which is nice because my pension doesn't technically belong to me. Okay, it's a liability on the part of the state. Yeah. So Now I don't know. Colorado's a pretty good state. I don't really foresee it going Tango uniform in the next 25 years.
Well, I mean, I don't think so either. I mean, that's like any other place, they always negotiate pensions and benefits like that. They just basically like kick the can down the road a little bit, but that's normal.
Yeah. Well, and it's easier for a state to do that.
It is.
So so I mean, California's like pension plan is so ridiculously underwater, but it's still like the single most powerful investing unit on the fucking planet.
It is.
It's weird, man.
Yeah, it's you want to talk about like too big to fail. It's that.
That's an iceberg that doesn't melt in the sun.
Right. That which means it's not ice. It means there's a lot of Los Plasticos in there.
Right,
And,
that's what you're talking about.
yeah, there's some weird things. You know what? I was not aware that that our mayor was
Yemi?
was the for some reason he's not being prosecuted for his role in basically the fake hate crime.
The what?
This was new information to me this week. So prior to the mayoral election, there was a hate crime perpetrated. Basically, like with burning crosses, that kind of thing.
Here in town?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I didn't know about this.
I didn't know that either. Yeah, this made national news.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. This made national news this week on the alternative media.
Oh God! Please tell me it wasn't on InfoWars.
No, although the story behind that is quite funny.
I don't really understand that one. You'll have to walk me through that one. But anyway, so there was a fake hate crime.
That was fake. That was basically Jussie Smollett fake.
See, I don't even remember this, and I voted for the motherfucker. I met him. He's a nice guy. So
he faked a hate crime.
Really?
And he is not being prosecuted for it.
Oh, okay.
That is weak ass.
Well, go. Do you want the DA's number? I've got it. I know him too. He just got reelected.
Yeah, that is some sad.
You must have voted for him because it was a guy.
Well, his opponent was also a guy.
Oh,
who?
The DA.
The DA?
No, the oh, I thought you meant the mayor.
Oh,
well, that we always have that weird mayor's election that's like in fucking May or something.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, so that's some fraudulent shit.
I'll have to look into that. I didn't know anything about that. I don't remember there being a hate crime
but
during his running for mayor, because he's not even a Democrat; he's an independent. So
yeah, this happened like 3 days before the actual election.
Oh man, I do not remember that.
I don't.
Crime was?
Yes, and we're talking about like the messaging was like something along the lines of it had like KKK messaging. Like where it was like, we're bringing the Klan back, or something like that. Something stupid. Something that...
See, that's weird, man. Because
real white supremacists wouldn't know. Because they don't put in the research.
They just pull it off InfoWars.
Yeah.
What InfoWars is.
Oh, this is Alex
Jones.
Alex Jones' thing. So it's like, so his handle got bought by the Onion, right?
No.
Okay.
All right.
God, that was going to be funny, man. I was hoping that was true.
All right. So here's how it worked, and frankly, I'm still baffled at the judgment that they made on that. That is unreal to me. But so they ordered him to liquidate his stuff, basically, and
yeah, doesn't he have to cough up like $1 billion? It's something ridiculous.
It's retarded. I cannot believe that that's still to this day. I can't believe that judgment hasn't been vacated, but because
if it's a jury judgment, it's hard to do. So
well, I mean, that's the problem here that I have is so how exactly do you allow that to stand versus every other form of, basically exactly what he did? Like, there are so many examples of this that you can point to and say, then why isn't this like... The whole punitive amount was for the purpose of basically bankrupting that enterprise.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Which is ridiculous. That's the... And on top of that, like, then this should be happening daily. This should be the kind of shit that, like, all right, well, if you can prove this happened at MSNBC, you should be bankrupting these people. I mean, it's so stupid.
Well, it also took like 10 years to actually prosecute. So, and it's not a prosecute, it's a civil trial.
It's a civil trial, which is ridiculous.
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know the specifics.
Well, anyway, all right. So in the process of liquidating all this crap, the name was supposed to be put up for auction, right?
Now, this was his Twitter handle or what?
No, the InfoWars was to be put up for auction.
Oh, the actual, like, copyright handle.
The business, yes.
Got it, okay.
The business name. Now, at first, what happened was that the Onion did bid on this and won that bid. The problem was that the actual the behind the scenes of it was basically like handshake. Was basically like it was not a real auction. There was fuckery from top to bottom. And
Who was doing the auction?
again, Patrick, I can't.
Oh, okay.
I can't tell you who did the auction.
Yeah, I was just curious.
But yeah, so there was fuckery to it. That got appealed. That was vacated. Now somebody's going to buy it ultimately, but the recent injunction, or basically what Musk did was he made the assertion, and I don't know how this goes, is they said like, well, we want the Infowars Twitter handle. He's like, well, that doesn't belong to you. That belongs to me.
Yeah, it belongs to Twitter. Yeah.
And I don't know how that works, because I know that there are some things like
You don't own your Twitter handle?
no.
You don't own your YouTube channel. You don't own nothing, man.
Right.
You don't even own your Facebook profile. So it's got your face on it.
Right.
So yeah.
Right.
Oh, interesting. I never even thought about it.
You didn't read that thing, did you? You just clicked accept.
No,
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, this is another one of the this is one of the things that they face right now when it comes to digital versus physical media, right? The whole thing about like, so if I go out there and spend $65 on a game and I download it, do I own it?
You own access to it on Steam.
Well, and here's the weird thing is they say, all right, so if you buy a physical copy, well, you own that, right? But do you own the right to play it?
My understanding is it depends on where you live. So if you're in Europe, the answer is yes, it's yours. So if you're here in the United States, the answer is you can play it as much as you want. But if I code the game so that it needs regular updates and you don't have access to my servers, you own it, but you can't play it.
You can't play beyond.
You can't physically play it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the weird things that they're getting into. And so this is like, so there have been sales where the Twitter handle was somehow included in the sale. So there used to be, there's a famous example of this, is there used to be a store in the mall called Fashion Bug.
Okay.
Right? Now, Fashion Bug went very belly up. I mean, it's a mall store. I don't remember. I mean, I imagine that just the strongest survive, but so some dude, and it really was just some dude, because nobody wanted it, so he ended up getting it for a pittance. And the only thing he did with it was he took the Twitter handle and adopted that and said, "I'm the Fashion Bug." and
So like Bart buying the factory for $1, you know, kind of thing.
right, kind of. He didn't pretend to be a business. He said, "I'm the Fashion Bug."
Was he like a villain or a superhero? Or?
He was just like a dude that fucked around. I mean, he had this because it had a baked-in following.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
So it had a baked-in following, so he had followers, and he co-opted it at that point, and that was all he did with it. He basically just bought the Twitter account. But that's the whole thing is, do you really own that? Well, the answer is no.
No, I don't know. I've never read Twitter's like policy on transferring handles between two people. So usually they just sell you the account and then you change the password, right?
I think there's something else to it, but I think you're right. Because, I mean, the other thing is that there's going to be, like, some verification on that. Because, I mean, like, on the same token, think about it. Because people used to be selling, like, your brother knows all about this, like, selling WoW accounts and stuff.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I guarantee you that shit doesn't belong to him.
Oh, no. Lord,
no.
Yeah, no. All that shit belongs to Blizzard.
Copy, yeah.
But well, and I mean, that's when they found out that like all these dudes in Chinese prisons were building WoW accounts because they could sell them on eBay. Could you imagine being able to go to jail for like something? You rob a liquor store, next thing you know, all you have to do is play video games. So for like 90 hours a week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's your question is like, do you want to pick up trash to the side of the road, make license plates, or play WoW?
I'd rather make license plates.
I guarantee you there's
that game would just after a little while be like, I'm going to stab my own eyes out.
Yeah, kind of. I guarantee you there are people like and get fresh air. It's like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll go outside. It's like, I don't want to play this dumb game. This game sucks. You never win, right? Or whatever take that you want to have on that. But yeah, it's an interesting point. And
Are they forced to play WoW?
in Chinese prisons, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that they like specifically would do this.
And they give it an option that. Like,
Well, no, I mean they did it because on eBay, if you got certain rare drops in WoW, you could get real cash for those.
but the prison would get the cash.
Not the prisoner, no.
Right.
You're right.
So the prison is allowing this so that they get the cash if you.
I don't think the question is a lot. I think they're making people do it.
So that's what I'm wondering. Are they forcing people to play WoW? And
I feel like every Chinese prison is as crooked as the warden from Shawshank. Like,
we're gonna have a little barbecue.
This train never stops.
Yeah.
It's
Dance around it.
cast you down with the sodomites. Yeah,
Out of that one room, Hilton.
yeah. Yeah, but all that shit's like not illegal.
Well, in China, no.
Interesting. All right.
So it's weird. I mean, and that's where people are. There's still a push right now. There's a lot of like purists that get mad and they're like, I don't buy games unless it's on a physical copy and all this other stuff.
Right.
No
GTA for you, buddy. So.
Well, you know what?
Well, that's not even an option anymore for some games.
Look, there are plenty that are. There are plenty that you can still buy a special copy of. You know what? And because there are people that are uppity about it, that's one of the things that businesses do is they make special edition like things. It's like
It's got swag in the box.
Cool
swag in it. Let me. It's like,
There's one of the big game deck platforms actually does let you own the game. I was just reading about this the other day. It's not Steam. It's not Steam.
No.
But there's one of the hosting platforms out there does let you own the game. I'll have to go look and see which one it was.
It's probably GOG.
Ooh, I think it was GOG.
I think it is.
I think
I'm pretty
was
sure
GOG.
because they're pretty like what do you say, libertarian about that kind of thing?
They're French.
Yeah,
The company's in France.
It's France has a very interesting relationship with
liberté.
There are things that you're like, how are you letting them get away with this? And then there are certain things where if it budges just an inch, the whole country starts on fire.
Right, yeah, they pour manure in the streets. Yeah,
right.
That's weird.
Bizarre, because I mean, this is the land of guillotines. So I mean, they remember.
Yeah, baguettes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you get bread or death.
Exactly, man. So I mean, yeah, there's a movement for it, and I guess, I mean, there is a point to it. There's an argument to it, but I mean, for the vast majority of us, especially like me, where I'm like, I don't want any physical media. I don't want this crap occupying my house. I don't want this.
I don't even leave it on my hard drive. When I'm done playing it, I delete it.
You do.
Wow.
You uninstall it. Because, I mean, you can always get it back, and it saves your stuff to the cloud, so it's not like you're going to lose that. But there is one argument that that there's really no way around here is, and this was a Disney thing, right? Was Disney, after they made their Disney Plus service, started making the decision that certain things of their past were not worthy of existing in the future or in the present.
Uh-oh.
And so
Bye-bye Songs of the South.
right. Excuse me. Academy Award-winning Song of the South.
I know.
Yeah. Absolute triumph. It's actually, I believe that Homeboy was the first African American to win an Academy Award.
I don't know.
I believe so.
I don't know.
Because of his performance in that.
Who was in that?
I'm not going to know his name. He's the guy that's playing Uncle Remus.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that he won an award for that.
Oh, yeah, that's not Lou Rawls. That's
No.
No. That is I know who he is. It'll come to me.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
No, it's cool, but yeah, this is the thing that if nobody owns the physical media anymore, all that exists is basically a censored or changed, altered version of what's there. Like, you know what? You have a point. There's a preservation of this that does
Can't be altered.
where you say like, should the media like does the media have a purpose of staying true to what it was without other people redefining essentially and saying, well, this is the product that it's essentially always been this way. This is Orwellian, right?
This is where you start having the Mandela effect.
Well, there are all right.
That's the birthday thing, right?
No, that's where you swear certain, like the Berenstain Bears was the Berenstain Bears.
Oh, that's right. But it is Berenstain.
Was it?
Yeah.
You sure?
Fuck you.
Where we have the overlap of the universes.
Right. Okay.
Well, I mean, there's certain things like, of course, like the Tiananmen Square thing, where people are like, I thought I remember that dude getting run over by the tank. It's like, no, you don't. That
No, he
didn't
didn't get
happen.
run over by the
But there were people shot.
They shot a lot of people there, Jeff.
Yeah.
A lot.
So if you saw the tank part and then saw in the newspaper where there are all these dudes on the ground, your brain might put together that
No, everyone swears they saw.
dude get run over by tank,
Yeah.
but it never happened. I mean, this is the there are many famous examples of this. They're all fucking garbage.
Some of them are pretty good.
I think they're funny.
They're funny,
Yeah.
yes, but they're all just garbage. Just they didn't happen in an alternate universe. It's the way that memory works.
Fine, but
Remember
maybe.
you remember how I had to piece together 1995 via the release of Duke Nukem 3D? That is how your brain works on small levels at all times. There are certain parts that you do remember, and then you have to piece together the parts with things that you can put, hard dates on or things like that.
I hear you. I still think Chick-fil-A, like, because there's two different Chick-fil-A's, and I swear that it was different.
I always got the way it's spelled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Because right now it's like,
FIL-A.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it was, it was CHIK filet versus CHICK.
Oh.
What is the
Or
first
there's
I've
something-
heard of this?
There's two
There
different.
was something that was
There was
weird about
one,
it,
and I
yeah.
swore it was the old logo.
Did you look it up? Did they have
Well, yeah, of
different
course they
logos?
have the side by side, and then you can look up what it is now, and it's definitely the one now. But I'm like, no, I swear,
I swear it was that way.
it was, it was that. So I think right now it's CHICK,
It's CHICK.
and I swore,
CHIC, right?
or maybe I can't remember
I
what the
can't
two
remember.
two
Or
different
maybe
logos.
it's CHIK.
It might be CHIK.
I thought it was CHIK, and the K made a little bird kind of nose
Kicking
looking
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
But I could have swore it up and down, and then now it's literally spelled out Chick-fil-A, and I'm like, no. There's some of those logos in there that I'm like, no, it was. I swear it was.
Yeah, but you do like art design and stuff, man. That's the whole thing.
So
You got to be
that's
really
the
careful about
stuff.
what you look at on the internet anymore, man. So,
So I don't know. It's fun.
Well, dude, there is stuff. There are things that have like minor changes and only happen in certain like incidences. Like, so they always joke about that Luke, I'm your father thing,
Yes,
right?
that is one of them.
that is one of them.
See, that's the thing is that's never changed. However, right? Even before they did like the special editions and stuff, right? They made a couple of changes to some of those versions that were very minute, including like if you just watched them on TV for years, after Luke like falls off into like after he gets his hand cut off and like falls into the thing. Okay, so the original version, he doesn't scream.
No, he just gets sucked into it.
He just goes in the hole. And then that scream that they actually use, okay, that's the Emperor's scream that when he gets thrown into the hole. So when the later versions took that scream and gave it to Luke after he fell into that area, right? It's the exact same scream. It didn't exist until 4 years later, right? And that's not
4 years. That's it.
Well, that's the span between the two movies,
right. And it's so the original 1980 version was already out, and then sometime in there they put that scream back in there. And so I remember like having a discussion with my friend like years before any of this came back. It's like, do you remember him screaming when he fell in the hole? I'm like, it's funny, I do.
Never happened. What?
Mandela.
But it did happen, and it's all documented.
Yeah.
Like, this is so stupid. And this is the same thing where if you're going to put out media that's part of the zeitgeist, and like it becomes weird to me that at a point, if this is something that we're willing to eventually like put in the Library of Congress for preservation, there's something to me that says like, hey, once it's done, it's done.
I think they do that actually.
They do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
By merit, they'll put certain things, and there's weird stuff in
There's
there.
weird shit in there. Like, yeah, they do
Like
that.
Pink
with
Flamingos
films.
is in there, and that's like.
But like so Star Wars is a little bit different test case on that one, just because that's the only movie that I remember where they actually poured a lot of money into remaking them back before they could just do it on a laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because they would make like. Every now and then you'd see a different edit of something that was slightly different.
Right.
But it wasn't like altered, like where they started painting new backdrops and, adding like Han Solo stepping on fucking Jabba the Hutt's tail and, the little purple thing that,
The little purple thing is the girl, and she's like, oh, yeah, but yeah, you're talking about that peanut, that furry peanut.
It's a fucking Muppet, man.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I also understand that a lot of that has to do with he looks like
he does look like
furry
peanut, man. Yeah,
and then he
he's a
just gets in your
peanut.
face and screams. I'm like, I don't know, you're gonna add anything to the film? It's this. Okay.
No, it's so bad. It is so terrible.
Fascinating. No, well, because I know that there are a lot of movies that, like 60s, 70s, 80s in particular, that the cuts are different because of like music licenses.
Yeah, or
And
you had a
lose the-
theatrical release and then a home video release. So they always try to make the home video releases much shorter, especially if they couldn't fit on 2 VHS or on 1 VHS. And so
That is true.
they used to do that all the time, man.
And on top of that, everything that they did was being cut for 4:3.
Exactly.
Was pan and scan.
Yeah,
which-
it was all 4:3. So because that's what everybody's TV was back then, man.
Yeah. And then when you'd see on TV, you're like, why does this movie, like, what are the black bars for? Why am I losing 40%? Like, I don't know. Like, this is stupid. I want to use the whole TV. And you'd have people say, so actually it's better this way.
I know.
It's better this way because you're seeing the whole thing as intended. I'm like, my TV's already 25 inches. You reduced
that was big.
That was big back then,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, they probably had a 3-inch paint.
You reduced it by 9.
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah. So you had to fucking put that thing in the studs.
It's like, now, remember, guys, 25 inches measured corner to corner.
Right,
Right?
yeah.
So, like, you want me to get close to the whole thing about owning 2 VHSs for regular, or for pan and scan and widescreen, it's and that certain time period where you're like, why do you own 2 copies of the Phantom Menace? And you're like, well, my wife likes this version, I like this version. I'm kind of a purist. I'm like, this is not that great of a movie, man. You don't need to play it twice.
Dude, I had tons of movies that were dupes. So
Yeah. It was a weird time. And it would take like 2 years for shit to come out on video.
you could get it, you could rent it before it would actually show up in Best Buy. So, but that's what the other VCR was for. So
that worked for a while
until they figured out the squiggly lines, and then I bought a box that makes them go away. So at Radio Shack,
you've always been fighting.
It was a war, Jeff.
Yeah.
I just bought the previously viewed ones.
Oh yeah, I did that like once or twice. There was something that I bought. I think I bought Terminator 2
I had
that
so
way, and
many.
it broke. So yeah, because somebody had watched. I mean, thousands of somebody said,
Yeah.
that thing was pretty much cooked by the time I got it. So nothing little Scotch tape didn't fix though. You could still do that back then.
Problems. It did have. It would solve the problem.
You have a hiccup.
You had so many plays left.
Right.
So before you either had to like take the other side of it or, just give it up. So, because it would break.
It would, and that being said, it was the best thing at the time. People do forget just exactly how much goddamn data magnetic tape can hold.
A lot.
It is ridiculous.
Crazy. Yeah, we had I don't know if you ever had one of these. Your dad was into the computers, but we had a tape deck for our Commodore.
Yeah.
That was for storage. Yeah. It was like amazing. So.
It is incredibly slow. It is. Yeah.
This one had a red button so you could rewind it fast.
Yeah.
You didn't push the other buttons while the red button was down, otherwise you broke the tape.
Let me also say this, that the tape deck on the TI 499A, all right, when you say tape deck, you picture just the unit where it goes. The actual unit is big and metal and like...
Yeah, it's like a lunchbox.
It's huge.
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
It's weird. I can't remember how this came up, but I was just walking down the. Oh, that's right. I was looking at like bad. I was looking at like bad comic book covers over the years, and it all came down to. I mean, not just the drawing style, of course, because some of it is just like terrible, but a lot of that came down to what people viewed as futuristic or modern at the time.
Yeah.
And there's this thing in the 90s where we seem to think, and maybe this is like 70s, 80s, 90s, where it was like everything in science is just going to get bigger. And that was wrong.
That was very wrong.
Yes.
Yeah. The buttons on the Death Star are humongous. They're like easy buttons. Yeah.
Now, to their credit, they all make great sounds when you press them.
Right.
They all have that
they sound like this
clicky
beacon spell.
Yep.
Yeah,
Very tactile, clicky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But the concept of you go from that, and then the 2000s veneer it's that, only it's a little bit smaller but rounded edges.
Right. It's usually got like a white cover.
Yes,
Yeah.
and everything is iPod white.
Right.
And then you get to where we are now, and it's like, well, actually, no, everything is about miniaturization, right? And has been for a while.
A long time.
So when you go back on these things that are futuristic, right, and you see, like, let's go to the bridge of this. Oh, there's a big TV here, and it's a screen. Just weird things. Again, that's a weird sort of like Star Wars anachronistic thing when they make, modern stuff with this. You still have to play with this universe that was based on 70s futurism in the past.
Yeah, I played games where they try and capture that, and it's like that's got to be infuriating.
You're married to this, and it's never going to change.
Rogue One did a good job with that. So
because it was tied to that time period,
right. Yeah, no, it was supposed to be like seamless, but there's like some of the other series that you see or stuff like that, or even like certain types of movies out there. Like you can't watch Blade Runner anymore, man. So.
Well, technically it happened in the past.
I know. So it's so weird. It's like 2019. It was like
that was 5 years ago.
Yeah, that was before COVID. My God. Where's my fucking flying car? So where's my giant skyscraper that hogs up downtown? It's the only thing that can actually, if you go to the top of that, you can see the sun. The rest of us just live in the rain. No. There's nothing like that.
So we did pretty good overall as a
I think we've done great, man. But like like the technology, I was reading about this, or maybe I was listening to one of my guys about this the other day. He's just talking about how like the tech curve is bending, that where we're not seeing the innovations that we used to see, just because like a lot of the major problems have been solved, That like the reason to have a car was because there's horse shit everywhere, kind of thing. Well, that's not a thing anymore, and the same thing's true about like air travel and stuff. There's a reason why every plane looks like it's Big Brother from the 1960s. It's because it's fundamentally the same tech. He was pointing out that the only thing that's radically changed in like 30 years is the internet, and that's it. Because you go back to like 1994. Okay, I hadn't been on the internet yet. I didn't get on the internet until I went to college. So, well, that's not true. I did like Genie and stuff. So I guess that counts.
Right.
But we didn't have home internet, like an AOL account until I was in college. So, yeah.
What about robots and like nanotech?
Maybe. I mean, but what does it do? I mean, we're using robots to blow up tanks in Ukraine, but,
Well, actually, okay, so you want to talk about some shit that you and I have joked about, like how few stealth bombers it would have taken to wipe out Germany in 1944.
One.
Right.
You know where that guy is. He lives in that big thing. He gives speeches from there. So one J-Damn war's over, boys. We're going home.
They're like,
hell, a drone?
You don't even need a fucking jet for that. Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about here, is the fact that it's gone to like drone warfare in that time. That's a huge step forward. It just doesn't feel like it.
So I've read contrary articles about this too. So it said that the drone conflict will be contained in Ukraine. We will see the birth, the development, and the death of drone warfare within this individual war. So, because they're getting really, really, really ridiculously good about like jamming them. Okay.
Oh.
So the point is that, like if you look at it, like missile technology hasn't changed in so long, because the reason is because you target it, you upload the package, the missile makes its adjustment, and then it goes, and it doesn't need to talk to you anymore.
Right.
So you can't do that with those little FPV drones.
Right.
So the ones that they're using now, they're actually attached by fiber optic cable. These are tethered drones.
Wow.
Because you can't jam that. So, but that's like that. Like there's been missiles like that for 80 years. So, well, not that long, but since the end of maybe like Korea. So we've had guided missiles that run off cable. So like it's gotten to the point in time where they're starting to look at it and say, okay, like the individual countermeasures for these things might actually be developed within the same war where we started seeing the first drone count. Now I don't know if I buy that, but I thought it was an interesting argument.
And I bet you with AI and stuff, you can get it to the point where you can give it its objective.
They already do that.
And it won't need to be communicating anymore.
They already do that, but again, you can jam that signal because what's it using in order to actually track where it's going? GPS. So, yeah.
Right. But I mean, that's the thing, is because we're not facing it, because we're not, looking at it, doesn't mean that it's not being developed, right? Because
I guarantee our guys are all over it, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. So do I think that it's look, this is the movement to look at the size of the personnel that we have in our military. It's shrinking, and it's shrinking for a reason.
Yeah, people don't want to go in the military.
Well, they don't want to go into it, and you know what? There are a lot of things that don't take as many people to do the same job, and the unmanned stuff is the future of this. There's just no two ways around it.
It's possible. I mean, unless you can actually figure out ways to beat the unmanned stuff. So, we'll have to see how it goes. I mean,
an e-impulse that just...
Well, not even that. I mean, just some, like, old-fashioned ingenuity. So there was this thing that I saw on Telegram the other day, thanks to, our recent migration over there, that, Ukrainians had, like, taken a whole bunch of, 18-inch sections of rebar and welded them at 90-degree angles on the armor plates of a BTR, which is it's like a Soviet-era APC carrier, okay? This thing looks like a fucking porcupine, because they're only, maybe 6 inches, or 3 inches apart from each one. So, and all they need to do is be this long in order for that drone to crash into that, and then the shell doesn't actually make contact because it's a shaped charge with that, and they survive. And so, you can have massive technology, but one guy with a TIG welder and a bunch of free time can still beat that, man.
Well, okay. Now that being said, I mean, this is so you have that going, and again, there's a counter to that is, when I was watching the basically like the Navy guys break down Top Gun Maverick. And they were pointing out, so they're like, there are some accuracies in this film, right? There are also some big problems. He's like, and it's not, the problems aren't necessarily what you think they would be. The biggest thing that they said, like, that there's a problem with how it was shot was the way the missiles work. And it wasn't that, because, you know, they're showing these great shots, and they're awesome to look at, don't get me wrong. They're showing these great shots, especially of the SU, what is it, the 51, where it makes this
57, where it does the pancake.
It makes that turn. They're like, well, this actually, the turn is good, but it wouldn't have evaded the missile because the missile doesn't blow up on contact with the jet. It blows up near the jet.
It blows up. They're all proximity fused. All of them. They've been that way since World War II.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, oh, okay. It's like, I got it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, that's a good point. That maneuver is real.
Oh yeah,
which is crazy scary, and it's funny that, I mean, all of ours do that, and
yeah, they kind of do. So
that's
my
actually,
understanding is the FT-22 is actually really good at it.
Okay, so here's the funny thing: is there for a long time, they saw the F-35 as inferior to the F-22, and in some ways it is.
Air to air it is, but none of the other ones. It carries more bombs. It goes further. It goes faster. So
well, and they thought it was less maneuverable until they actually started doing those techniques, and they found out that the F-35 is actually incredibly maneuverable. It's just how you fly it.
You got to be the right guy.
And that, well, I mean, it's the technique. It's that exact sort of thing is if you fly it a certain way, it's incredibly maneuverable. But that's like, that wouldn't have helped you because the missile would have blown you up. You know, and then that's the physics thing of you going at the speed of light, turn on the headlights, what happens? The exact same thing. The lights would show right up in front of you. There'd be no delay. Same thing goes with if you fire a missile and it blows up. The shrapnel of it continues to go forward
At Mach 3.
right
So,
at the speed it was going plus whatever, you know, additional speed goes. I was like, okay, so that's cool. But I mean, to that end, when it comes down to it, it's like, all right, well, if they all know this, and if this is being, you know, stopped by rebar, right, it's like, all right, well, then the things will explode at 5 meters. They'll explode at
eventually. But that's every war's been
exactly
like that. Every war's been like that. It's just, we have seen, there's been several wars where technology came out and then it was basically obsolete by the end of the war. So, you know, I don't know if drones would fall into that, but that's happened a lot in the past.
Or drones in their current conception.
Maybe in their current conception, yeah. I mean, so like there's still a lot of merit in having the big loitering drones like we used, you know, during the War on Terror.
Yeah.
We still have tons of those in our inventory.
Yeah.
You know, and then those are actually piloted, you know, from Nevada. So, but then like there's this thing about the little FPV drones. But what it's done is it's basically reverted like the actual battlefield away from mechanized warfare back to World War I style infantry warfare.
Yeah.
So like the best defense that you have against an FPV drone is a fucking hole in the ground.
Yeah.
And just stick your head in it, you know. So you know, and then like almost all of them. Like they like there's no such thing as nighttime fighting anymore because you show up like on any thermal image.
Oh yeah.
And everybody's got them now, so there's not like, you know, back in when we shot Osama bin Laden in Dark 30 or whatever.
Right.
Everybody's got that now. So you can go over to fucking Best Buy and get, you know, a set of those. So you know, and so there's no advantage, and so like literally the battle, like they stop at 5 p.m.
Which goes back. I mean, this
dude, that goes back to the Civil War,
like,
Jeff.
This is like 12th century shit.
Right? Yeah. And so you only fight during the day, you know, because everybody bunkers in at night. So you know, and then rather than having like these World War II size, you know, battalion marches, you know, with 1,600 guys and 36 tanks or whatever. They attack with like 2 tanks and an MRAP and like 30 guys. That's a big attack. So, you know, and then they just get absolutely murdered by artillery. So because they get
which is still
It's still the king.
Exactly what it was before.
No,
in
it's
many ways.
Like a lot of the stuff that we've given Ukraine and the Germans have given them. They give them these artillery shells that you fire them up and they stay up there, and they stay up there and they stay up there and they stay up there. They don't arc like this, like just a dummy shell. They actually look for targets. And they got little fins on them.
Yeah, there's that. Oh my God.
But you shoot them out of a cannon. So, you know.
Shit, they were doing that with
crazy.
individual bullets.
Oh, yeah.
Which is crazy.
So what's this red button do?
Wow.
No, it's weird, man. I mean, like, I since the election, I haven't been tailgating that stuff because it was, I mean, Telegram's full of bad things, man. If you want to see if you want to see a whole bunch of guys get splattered by artillery, that's where you go. It's on there.
I didn't know you look for stuff on Telegram.
Oh, I got hooked on that a while back.
You know,
it depends on
yeah,
and then
through the
you can do that.
You can,
It depends on the chat. Like, so for example, like
I do mine on the computer.
do that on the computer. Like, so when like the Kiwi Farms was under siege, you went there. That's you have 1,200 people in the channel, and you know they're all posting everything. This is how you keep certain things alive, even when the government is trying to shut them down. Or bad actors or stuff like this, and like it's a real deal.
Yeah, but there are bloggers on there that are like fighting. They're right there. So they'll you know just hey you know another day in the fucking war zone you know kind of thing, and it's real, dude. And so there's just something about that I find. It's like it's car wreck kind of stuff. You know, you got to look and see. It's like that one involved a motorcycle. Oh, that's bad. You know,
well, again, like you like that a little bit more. I'm a little bit more like failed robbery attempt.
Those are fun.
You know?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I know what you're talking
like
about.
when they fall through the ceiling or something like that.
No, where you get shot. So yeah. So
you know, and it's not so everything like that. It's funny because when you watch this stuff, like depending on the era that you grew up in, right? There was this time when Fox Regular was just a home for like narrated reality crap. And so every time you watch this like footage, okay, it's not America's Funniest Home Videos, but it's something where like you can hear the dude in the background just basically like, these two guys came inside to rob a vape store. But what they didn't know was that Mr. Ice Pick back here was about to put 13 holes, you know, and you watch the dude come in and he crosses over the register and fucking the guy behind the counter fucking shanks him like 13 times.
Yep.
Right? Or every now and then you get straight up shotgun justice where you see a dude go in the back room, come back from the back room, blow one dude away. I saw a dude get his arm just completely blown off and abandoned.
Fox?
No.
I was like
Telegram.
But it's all in that same kind of like surveillance camera footage, right?
Gotcha.
Versus, you know, there's the look, a lot of the other things, they're all like traffic cam footage, right?
Yeah.
Because you're never gonna see you're gonna see a gravel truck fall over, and it's gonna be from an intersection.
Yep. Yeah, there's specific channels you can go to, or they're not really channels. They're like
they are channels. I mean, they are. They're
yeah.
They call them channels. I mean,
okay.
You know
I
where
guess
to go.
you're right. Yeah, if you know where to go. So like the war,
you just get a link. Yeah.
You just get and so I got linked to all those because there's a few guys on YouTube that I watched that were keeping up on like what was going on. They say, well, I can't show this on YouTube, but go over here to Telegram, and I'd be like, all right, let me go check it out. So you know, yeah, I've seen that shotguns. I didn't, you know, I ran into one where a guy got his head sawed in half by a shotgun. You don't realize the spread on that. You think it's like, you know, this fucking cloud of stuff that goes, but it's like this big, you know.
And
you know,
gotcha.
And occasionally you go in there and you see some things that you're like, wow, I didn't think that thing would get to me. Because every now and then you're looking, you're flipping through, and you're like, ooh, suicides are tough to watch. There's this video
That one, or when people are playing with guns. So
People are playing with
they
guns.
do something, yeah, like doing like cowboy tricks and they shoot themselves in the head. So I've seen that a couple times.
There's that.
You never do that with a loaded gun.
You know what? And a lot of times you're speaking Russian. In those.
Oh
videos.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I will say, like, because a lot of the ones that I've seen are
Right.
people falling off of high objects. And there's one that
Why is this worth watching?
You get sucked into it a little bit, and then you see something that makes you swear off it for a little while. So, and then something else will be like,
I'm already good.
don't do it then, man. It's not
Like,
good for you.
None of
Like,
this is like.
you have to back away from it after a little
TV.
bit. Otherwise, you're just like,
yeah, well, this is Dad was into this too. He was a gore hound, and I mean, look, there's always been an avenue for this kind of crap. And like, have you seen the one, Pat, where those things that they have out in front of like Best Buy so trucks don't run into them?
Yes.
bollards.
That's right. That's what they're
Okay.
called. Yeah.
Did you ever see the one where the guy committing suicide fell onto that and lived?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
What? Oh, so he jumped off the top of a building and fell on
Jumped
one
off
of
the
those?
top of a building, fell on that,
Jeez.
right up the ass.
No, I did not see that one. I'm not going to go look for that
He
one.
eventually died, but he did not die instantly, and that sucks.
Yeah, see, that's those are.
That's the
You
one
see
that
one of
you
those,
stop
and then,
and you're
yeah,
like,
you're like, I need to go pet my
oh.
dog.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So I mean, the stuff that I watch there is almost 99% war porn.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where, like, I'm fascinated by it. And so I mean, I used to watch, like, you used to be able to find combat footage on YouTube back in the day from all the guys in Iraq, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I watched all.
They put the clamps on that.
They fucking scrubbed it, is what they did. So they scrubbed it, but good. And so now you can't even, like, I mean, there are restrictions on YouTube just in terms of having like a gun. Like, you can't live stream with a gun at all. So this makes perfect sense if you think about it, so, but you can't do it. So, because, like, somebody did something on a live stream with a gun, and then they had to go back and scrub that out there.
And see, I've seen that footage.
I've probably seen a couple of those too. I've seen they did the same thing with Twitch and the swatting, where you couldn't see the replays on it and stuff.
Yeah.
They would scrub that almost immediately. So, do people still do that?
What?
Swatting? Do
They do.
police departments
do.
still fall for that?
Dude, yesterday, a bunch of like Trump's nominees got swatted.
Oh, really? Where? What?
Yeah.
How?
You find their address.
Right.
It's all public information.
Is it?
Most of it is, yeah.
Oh.
Like, if you want to know where, like, look, it has to be. Here's the thing: is it's not that hard. If you're a public figure in any way, there's any dozen ways to find your address.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Really?
Oh yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah.
So, like, so when my wife was actually a DA, ours was actually scrubbed. So she actually had to fill out some paperwork, but it was scrubbed from all the county records at that time and stuff like that. So I'd imagine if you were like, what are these, like staffers or the Trump guys?
We're talking about the like Gates and other.
Gates?
Yeah.
You see, that's the congressman, man. How the fuck does he get swatted?
Again, that's not hard to find. So you
You
call it in.
Yeah, you could probably find that.
You call it in. You say that there's a person over there waving a gun, right? And the police have to show up. And here's the thing.
But if you've got someone like that in that neighborhood, the cops are going to know. Okay, that's where Matt Gaetz lives.
Yeah.
They're going to call him before they show up.
Well, they show up, but
Yeah.
Here's the thing: is they've changed the protocol quite a bit because it's only in the first few years they would come in there and basically like kick the door down, right?
Yeah.
They'll
FBI motherfucker.
yeah, and so
That's a famous video.
at this point they have a different protocol for it. There's I've seen it happen on streams now where people have done that, and
I haven't seen it on stream.
and dudes will come up, SWAT guys will show up. Their weapons won't be like. They don't fucking Elian Gonzalez, guns drawn.
Point the machine gun right at the kid.
At the child.
Yeah.
No, they
Oh my god, I hadn't thought about that in years.
it's the picture,
it's the picture,
so they don't come in like that. What they do is they pop in, and it's almost like they ring the doorbell now.
Yeah.
But if it's like, and then they'll come inside, and then they'll talk to us, like, because again, I've seen it on stream. They're like they'll explain, it's like, I'm a streamer, and they'll talk for a little bit. They'll just take like the little look around. It's like, hey, you mind if we just check them? It's like, hey, no problem.
No. Yeah, I've seen a couple streamers have that happen to them, but not like the kick you in the door kind of thing. But it's just interesting with the guy, like, so like if it was Matt Gaetz, you'd have to know. So
but you also have to take it seriously because of like what happened at Paul Pelosi's joint.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
But they would just call.
No, they can't. Here's the thing: you can't just call like in that position, right?
You would call and see if Gates answers,
It doesn't work that way because, again, like in that case, if you call somebody that's in the let's say that they're in the process of getting shot or they're in terror or whatever it is, right? You can't do that. You can't, like, say for example, like the famous example, the woman who basically let the police know what was going about by ordering a pizza.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'd like a single pepperoni pizza.
Right.
There's like code language for that stuff.
And they figured it out from what she was doing, right? You can't call those people because of whatever the situation may be. You can't call Matt Gaetz and be like, hey, are you all right? Is this kind of thing? Because you don't know what the situation is. You have to show up.
You call. You call. If he answers, then you talk to him, and he's like, I'm in Washington,
Again,
dude.
If he's under the bed and he has his phone with him, that's why you don't call.
Yeah, but couldn't you like call his office? He'd have to have an aide or something.
There's people you
possibly,
call.
yeah.
There's so many. There's no way you don't reach out to people and see if this is a legit thing.
So I totally see that if that's just like you or me and we're just schlubs and getting swatted on our fucking World of Warcraft stream. Okay. So I think, that way makes perfect sense. But if you're a public official and you've got like
so many people that are tied to you.
Yeah, in one way
there's no way you don't reach out and start touching base and get the situation.
They don't go and say, like, my name is this, okay? This is what's going on. What they say is, I see this happening at this address.
Right, yeah.
But you reach out to his people and they go, hey, no, Gates is fine. He's here. Hey, he's talking to his wife. Everything's fine.
Well, the police would probably they would still show up and say, like, hey, we want to see, we want to put eyes on him.
The cops show up. Yeah, if there's like people in the background.
But I guarantee they called people first for that.
Well, and they probably send a black and white unit before they roll out there with the SWAT truck.
A lot of times it's the same thing, and a lot of times, here's the thing: is the way that it used to work was they would have to send the SWAT truck because of the nature of what they saw. Right? Because if you say that you see somebody with a gun, immediately the team changes that they send.
Well, they still send black and whites. So,
right.
Yeah, it's those.
But, I mean, given what you say, and that's the thing is, you're not calling it in as yourself, right? You're calling it in as, I see
right, and I get that, but there's no way they're not reaching out ahead of time. Like, they're not just sending a cop there just to start, and that's the beginning of the investigation. They're calling around and saying, hey, dude, this is a public official. There's no way.
Okay, well, so here's the problem with that, and I get where you're coming from. Okay?
There's no way you're going to convince me that the cop going there is the first step. It's impossible for me to.
I mean,
I can see both. I
mean, I get what you're saying. What I'm trying to tell you is, think about this for a second, okay? Let's say that you call this in, right? And what they start doing is they start fucking around, calling around for these other places, right? You're looking for numbers. You're looking for this, right? Now, let's suppose for a second that there is actually something going on over there. And by you fucking around, instead of just going, right, that person ends up dead. You can't do that.
You do it 100% because you're doing it before a cop can get there. There's no way you don't try and get information before the person gets there. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life, with somebody that has so many connections to so many different people that can all get assessments of situations. There's no way.
Dude, when they call it in, they go. If there are people
I don't
in the
believe
background,
that people aren't calling around to see what's up.
if there are people doing that in the background, that's a different story. But when
There's going to be tons of calls before that cop can get there. Unless the cop is like sitting in
but
front of his
what I'm
house.
saying there is, they get the call, the cop is sent.
Yeah.
But you're going to make all the calls before the cop gets there.
But you're arguing a different thing, dude.
That's what I've said the entire time. I said, I don't care if the cop's on the way. It's if they're calling around.
Okay, then they're calling around. But I'm just telling you, like, they send the cop as soon as the call is made.
That's fantastic. I get it. You respond to any threat, but you're like, no, they don't call.
Has any streamer ever been killed in a swatting?
No.
No, I didn't think so.
No.
Okay, it's just basically to fuck with somebody.
That kind of stuff like happened like in the beginning,
Yeah,
but they changed the protocol like a long time ago.
yeah, because there was like a couple streamers that I watched that talked about it once, and they, so like this is why I can kind of see this both ways, is because they said, okay, like I'm the streamer, I have 1.4 million Twitch followers, whatever. This happens to me all the time, so I have a relationship with my local police department,
Right.
Because they get called weekly,
Right.
You know, and so in that case, they call, hey, you know, like Asmund Gold or whatever, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. No worries. So, but, and see, I would think that, like,
And even then, they still show up.
yeah, and I would think that if one got called in on Gates just because he's a sitting congressman, you know, there would be a protocol like that as well. So, or it'd be like, okay, we got a guy that we got to call, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, still at the same point in time, tell the boys to get up, get down, start geared up, send a black and white over there, you know, go see if like the place is actually on fire, you know, something like
Absolutely.
that. Yeah.
Right. And again,
know?
I'm not disputing your point that there are probably people like they're like, hey, get on this, right? But yeah, the very first thing is like somebody has to get out there. That's not disputable.
Well, I don't know what their protocol is. I'm sure.
Well, because they're going to have to take a report no matter what.
It's guaranteed. Yeah, but I mean, the order in which they do it, I don't know. That might actually be up to the department. So
Yeah, because when you call 911, right, they're with their information, they're gonna basically get to dispatch, right?
well, they dispatch the cops themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Before they start, like, okay, before I dispatch, let me have a whole bunch of people call around to make sure that he's okay. Because if you fuck that up, that's your ass. That's everyone's ass. That's there's no version of that where you're just kind of like, you know what, I made the call because he's famous, not to send somebody right away, but to, check around and see if he's normal.
That was not how you conveyed it at all. You're like, no, they're not calling.
I don't think they would call his cell phone.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying they're gonna. There's no way there's not protocols where they're calling a whole bunch of people. There's a threat on any one of the politicians.
Yeah.
There's a whole set of stuff
Dude,
going
I'm
in.
sure that they have, like, especially in, like, their cases, they probably have a separate protocol where, like...
Yeah, that's why I'm just like, dude, there's...
Yeah, you got one congressman in one district. There's one of them. I'm sure there's a special protocol. So, I don't know.
But yeah, I guess my take on this, and this may not be what you meant, was, like that they could do that in lieu of sending somebody...
I never said that.
Yeah, I think you guys are getting a little crosswise.
Yeah, that may be how that came across, and I apologize, but that's kind of like... Because I'm thinking of that possibly, like, no, they can't just call and be like,
Mr. Gates, are you okay?
are you okay? It's like,
I'm
yes.
fine.
Yes. Okay.
I need a pizza.
And then you write down the report. Gates said he was fine.
Yeah, he wanted a pizza. I gave
Right.
him, like Pizza Hut's number.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know, man. So, policing is something that I just don't understand that much about. So, I've known a lot of cops too, man. So, it's a different world. So that's why I thought, like swatting wasn't really a thing anymore, but apparently not.
Well, I mean, again, it's
Do they go back and find the people that placed the call?
sometimes.
Because they should have to pay some sort of
Oh yeah, yeah, you do.
massive fine.
But sometimes these calls come from Russia. Sometimes these calls come from.
Oh yeah, I guess that's
It came from my Google voicemail account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is not us looking across the street at the house.
No.
This is not the one where you call the operator and say, "Hey, can I connect you?" So
That's
sure, Mr. J.
That's, you know what? That's true. Nobody's actually in the neighborhood where that's going on, right?
right.
Because that would be some shit. It's like, well, your cell phone. So you called it this time, and you were here, and you used your main phone.
Oh yeah. I watched this fascinating video a little while ago by this guy who's like, how do you actually completely go, like if you have to run, how do you actually do it? Like if you got to make a break for it.
Okay, yeah.
So the law's coming. How do you actually disappear in today's society? And it's ridiculously difficult to do. So, I mean, like it's very simple, in what you have to do, but it's really hard to do.
Not be in a city.
It's not even that. It's like no phone, no accounts, no credit cards, no driver's license. You're going to live in the middle of nowhere. So, and basically hitchhike around, and stuff like that. And he was talking about so he's helped clients do this, because they not, trying to get away from the feds or something like that, but trying to get away from an ex or something like that, and just want to go completely silent for a couple of years. And he said most people can't do it for more than 3 or 4 months. So just because of how wired we are and stuff like that. And so you got to stay away from towns that have any kind of traffic cams, so you got to stay away from any kind of usage of an ATM, anything like that. And so I was just thinking through that. I was like, fuck that. So I don't even think that's possible anymore, because
It's gonna get harder and harder.
Dude, so there's 32 intersections in town that have the photo cops on them. But virtually every major intersection in this town has traffic cams on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of them. And they are really good. So they've gotten to the point in time where and so I actually met, we went out to dinner with a couple of our friends, one of whom actually knows a lot about this stuff. And she was telling me that, so all summer we had the kids doing the street racing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they bust the fuck out of a ton of them. So they just followed them with drones back to their houses.
Oh. There you go.
So what, you're going to sleep eventually, dude? I'm on an 8-hour shift. How long can you make it, man? So they just follow these guys all over town. So they don't even try and pull them over.
And
I was like, all right, that's smart. So there you go.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and they just track them with the traffic counts. And so, to double check. And then they present all that stuff over as evidence later. So
you should know by movies now, man. They're pulling videos from. They're just like
everywhere.
there. This has
well, and
video,
your cell phones get so much fucking data on it. I mean, the days back when Walter White, you could pull a battery out and they can't find me. It doesn't work like that anymore, man.
Well, you can pull the battery out. Well, I mean,
I can't anymore.
You can't take the battery out. You can turn the fucker off, and you can basically go off that way.
Yeah.
Because it's not making contact with a cell phone tower. But are you going to do that for the rest of your life? Because when
you turn it on,
that was kind of this guy's point. It was like, look, you can do it. You can do it right here in America. So he says this is really hard.
And to be fair, you can go ahead and still pick up a prepaid phone.
Yeah, exactly.
And it is still, it's still dumb, but ultimately, your access to anything is going to be incredibly restricted.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because if you do that and then you put it on, it's like, all right, so what did you get that for? Well, you're going to call somebody.
Right.
And when you call somebody, it's going to be on their record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's already registered on the towers at that point.
Yeah.
Or you're going to get on the internet and they can track you down, just algorithmically based upon because they have say you've been, using Google for 10 years. So you have this humongous search history. And so you get up there, I was like, oh, let me check out my old friends and stuff like that. They're going to find you like that, man. So
Well, it turns out this was another thing that Google's in hot water for is...
Google's in hot water for a lot.
One other thing. As of right now, they're talking about the divestment and breaking apart the company is some shit right now. But
I just want to see you can leave the rest of Google alone. Just give me the old YouTube back. So just
weird.
It's not gonna happen. I know it's not gonna happen.
Those were the good days.
These were the good days when the internet was still fun.
I talk about these things. I mean it. And that means everything good and bad that comes along with it. This means like the ugly harassing, the worst kind of like people out there. But that's one of the things that Google's facing right now is incognito mode is not as incognito.
Oh no,
not incognito
dude,
at all.
my brother told me that for 10 fucking years. Yeah, so
Absolutely nothing.
yeah.
Well, that's something that they're facing a lawsuit over, is presenting it as this, despite still care.
No, incognito does not mode. Well, and there's there's all kinds of things like that if you dig into them just a little bit, you start to realize, oh wait a minute, this is a fig leaf. Got it. Like one of them I found out recently was VPNs. VPNs don't do shit. So in terms of security for you at all, like nothing. All they do is change your location.
Yeah, that's something.
That is something.
It is something.
That's a pretty big something.
It can be something if you're trying to download movies in a different country. So,
or if you're doing something
that you're not supposed to be doing, right? But they all have so many backdoors behind them because in order to actually set up a company like that and do business in the United States, who do you think asked for a copy of the keys?
Well, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But you have to do a lot of steps to try and find. It does.
It is true, but it's not this like it's
not impenetrable.
Exactly.
You have to go to a Tor site.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And those get flagged too. So
yeah, exactly. So no, that was just one of them. And like almost like all the forms of like modern hacking is all like psychological. So
people are the easiest.
People are the easiest, thing to actually get through, and so
that's gonna be that's gonna be forever.
Oh, I know, man. My mom still gets calls from India weekly. Yes.
Dudes. So I guess the new one is like threatening people to release. Basically, it's preying on the idea of your webcam is always on, and so it's like, I've seen what you do. Yeah, and I'm gonna release that.
Well, that was on Black Mirror. They had a Black Mirror.
Did they?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, there are people sending out emails like this.
Yeah. Well, I've got one of the. Oh, you don't. I got one of the little tab things that covers it.
Oh,
I just take mine off.
Yeah, I was just saying, down there, I have the external one. So
yeah, I have an external one. The only one that I have an internal one on my laptop or my desktop down at work. So, but I never use it.
Yeah, I never use mine, but it's a work computer, so I don't want to. So
it is a work, and man, I mean, work security is so much worse than mine. So it's like these freaking people is like, oh, I thought that was the dean emailing me with these multiple attachments. That
it is amazing.
This was people are.
I know.
All right,
it's so funny, and then we all have to do training again.
All right. So I was asked. I was asked to watch a video, not of somebody dying this time. This was actually something that.
Wait, you're asked to watch videos of people dying?
Those are mostly me.
Okay.
Every now and then, some of the people, like in this case, Marina, she saw a video. She's like, I want you to watch this because I don't know how to feel about this. I'm like, what is it? Now, in this particular case, I'm like, I understand why she was concerned. All right? Now, I'm just going to describe what was going on here. This is in Africa. Nobody's being butchered or anything like this. Okay.
Oh, that's a nice change.
Exactly. Yes. But there's a 16-year-old boy, right? And this is going to get a little bit graphic. I'll try to be as nice as I can. You have to picture that this 16-year-old boy is doing this like he's done it 1,500 times. And what he's doing is, because it's the customs of the village, he is performing...
On himself.
No, on a cow.
Oh.
On a female cow that is giving milk, right? Because he's performing oral sex on this cow because while the cow has a calf that's milking. Because they've been told, and it has been a custom.
What, on the udder?
No.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, all right.
Because they've been told in their village, they've been told for a long time that this it aids the cow. What the science is, there is none. Okay?
Yeah.
But he's doing this, and then afterwards, because this is something that they will also use in toothpaste and all these other things that they do there, he's taking a shower as the cow is peeing on, right? Now, she's like,
yeah, that's weird.
She was like, I don't know how to react to this. It was like, the reason that she was sending me this was because a friend of hers, right, was working in the area, right, doing some like services, right, and just like, this is how they live. And the only thing that I could really, there were some things where like, all right, here's the reality of the world, it's just like, look, this is in India, 25% of people don't have access to a toilet. Okay. I was like, look, I just file this under a lot of things of like, I can't believe this is still happening in 2024.
Oh, yeah. So that, like, the thing that broke me on that was the actual numbers of people who were enslaved.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like, there are way more people enslaved today than there were in 1864.
Right.
And it's just like, what, really? And at first I thought, oh, well, that's just like, people who are like, you go and you're going to clean hotel rooms for 6 months, and so we're calling this slavery because, walkable cities.
Right. So I know. There are people, and it's like, so what is your slavery status? It's like, still got to work to make money.
Yeah. Any form of paid employment is slavery. Anyway.
I thought we fought a war over this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Where's my 90% leisure time? Anyway.
52% of the country thinks the wrong side won.
Yeah, exactly. No. But if you actually dig into it and look at some of the reports out there, you don't have to dig too far to find out that it's fucking real. So these are people who get like bushwhacked. They take their fucking passports and stuff like that. So they whisk them off, so they don't even know what country they're in sometimes. And yeah, you get to like fucking lay concrete in this country. So, and we will say we pay you, but we don't pay you. So, and then like they'll even bring in like, there's horror stories there of like even just like tourists. Saying, oh, we're going to go on this backpacking trip in Thailand or something like that.
Right.
And next thing you know, you wind up being a sex slave in Laos. So, and it's like, no, you're chained to the bed. And it's like, what? It's 2024. So, yeah. So a guy like, I don't know, going down on a cow.
Well, and
that seems almost quaint.
Well, her perspective on this, and she had a good point, was, so this was happening 500 years ago. 1,000 years ago. I was like,
sure,
because I'm like, the entirety of the Roman Empire came and went, and y'all did not change a whit.
No,
I mean, this is the thing is so I understand that I get kind of grumpy, like around Columbus Day, and people start saying it's like, actually it's Indigenous Peoples Day, and there's a part of me that says, the Aztecs needed to go. Like, I'm not.
They did eat people.
There's a part of me that says like the best thing that happened to this continent, to this side of the world, was that a lot of these bad people are gone. Right now,
there's a reason why they built cities on the side of cliffs. It wasn't because it's fucking lions. Yeah.
Right.
The neighbors were a problem.
For the view, for the property values.
Oh no, no. It's had nothing to do with it. Yeah. So,
No, that's the thing. Yeah, and so, and I take a look at this and I look at Africa, I'm like, look, this country specifically spends.
Which country was it?
I think it was Sudan.
Okay.
I think it was Sudan.
There's some really poor countries in Africa.
Well, and here's the thing is when you look at places even like India, it's like, yes, you were colonized by the UK.
Mm-hmm.
You can argue the merits of it, but I can tell you that in a lot of ways, you have really prospered as a result of taking what you learned from the UK.
Well, and they left.
And they left.
They left.
Yes. And the same thing, you're like, well, if you go to Africa, everybody colonized that place. Everybody got a piece of their...
It's like it was self-colonized 1,000 times before any white man ever showed up there. So,
and it's weird. It's like, how are you still that far?
It's disease, is what it is. It's fucking disease, man. I mean, you got to find one of those places where, like, if you look at countries like Italy, which is puny, but puny. Whatever. Yeah,
it's puny.
So, but it's like people there live in their 90s.
Yes.
Okay, so they don't have very many kids. Okay, and so there's just a different pace of life, and it's really laid down. And it's really kind of like your life isn't due to like so many outside circumstances,
right?
That you see the merit in going down on a cow in order to make sure that it produces good milk, right? Okay, and when you have 4 children and 3 of them die of dengue fever, okay, so we just kind of keep like doing things. Now there's parts of Africa that are great, okay, so I mean, but there's also like there's problems there, and some of them are just, they come with the neighborhood. Does that make sense?
Lack of resources that
is the most resource-rich continent on the face of the fucking planet.
Like water and
lack of
food.
Clean water.
Yeah.
Okay, well, again, and food that's also a misnomer. It's partially like the farming techniques they use there. Right. It's like you've seen what's happening in Zimbabwe, right?
No. Oh, Zimbabwe is just a political mess. So
the Zimbabwe had their revolution. It's basically kill the Boer, and they did that in South Africa too. Chased out all the white farmers, right?
Oh, South Africa's that's a mess too, man.
Fucking disaster, right? Yeah. Chased out all the white farmers. Everybody's starving, right? So what are they doing? They're begging the white farmers to come back after they trashed their farms, raped their wives.
They took all their stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, they're gone.
And so these people are coming in and they're throwing parties because there are people actually willing to come back to that shithole. I mean, this is so this is the thing that sucks about that continent geographically is you have this top part, which might as well be Mediterranean, right?
It is Mediterranean.
Yeah, just part. You might as well consider
there's a giant goddamn fucking ocean of sand between like the Mediterranean and the parts of Africa where you can grow food. Yes. So this is part of the neighborhood, man.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't cross that motherfucker. So on foot, you die. So they can't even put highways across it because they get buried. Yeah. So I mean, it's the nature of the neighborhood, there that makes it difficult. And then you have all these,
and then you get to the sub-Saharan part, and it's like, okay, well, this is
some of it's great. Like Nigeria is great. So I mean, it's gonna be it's gonna be bigger than America, I think, in 10 years. So in terms of population wise. So, and it's like one of the countries out there in Africa that you can actually have a decent middle class life and buy a house and not have to worry about dudes showing up with AK-47s and machetes every day. So, but then it's surrounded by countries where that's all true. Right. Yeah. So, and so it's a bad neighborhood, man, in terms of that. But, there's just problems. So that, just come with that kind of harsh living. I mean, that's why, if you look at places like like Vietnam, Laos, Thailand, that whole area, Bangladesh. It's all jungle. It's all kind of the same. Okay. I mean, they still have that fucking slow moving coup going on in Myanmar. So it's been going on forever, man. But, you know, I mean, when has that neighborhood ever changed? It hasn't. So, you know.
I understand that there is some progress. I understand that Vietnam in particular has been showing a lot of progress since we were there.
It's still a fucking communist dictatorship. So they will throw you in jail and make you play WoW. So we'll see, man. You know, just because we're cool with them and they like blue jeans now.
There are places where the East Asians take East Asia too far, right?
Oh,
where they take the Tiger Mom thing just a little bit to its extremes, and you know, I understand that. But yeah, there was just something about this where it was the fact that it's like, this shit has not changed in 5,000 years.
Yeah, you can take a look at just about everything from Mexico to Panama and say the same thing, with the exception of like Costa Rica, you know, which is really nice. So, yeah. But then there you go. It's been like that, well, ever since we were watching it, you know, so there you go. I mean, it's just, it's jungle living's different, man. And so if, you know, like, if you find a really successful jungle like ridden country, okay, there's like a 1 or 2 off. The norm is AK-47s, machetes, dengue fever. You know, you rob people in order to eat. You know, it's just weird, man. They're all like that.
The only parts that I can say that are jungle. Okay, let me say this. They have jungles in them, but that is not the entirety of the country.
Right.
So there are parts in Soviet Union that were jungle. Right?
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
I think more toward the middle.
Obviously. God.
Like the places where no one really lives.
Oh, I didn't know there was any jungle.
That's most of Russia.
I thought Russia was just fucking like,
It-
well, the middle of it is just nothing but steppe. You know, it's like, it's basically like ocean grass.
Yeah, there's parts of, like, when you get down there, there's actual like jungle areas.
I did not know that.
And you wouldn't expect that, but
No,
I mean,
I
it's
didn't.
it's the size of it that
Oh, it's humongous.
exactly. So you're gonna have that biome in there somewhere. I mean, because there's jungles in China.
There's definitely jungles.
There's jungles in China. There's jungles in India. So I mean, you know there's shit load of jungles in India. So I mean, it's like, so when you get to different spots, like, it's there, but it's not the entirety of.
No, they got places that are flat and, you know, not overrun with canopy trees and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, is there anywhere in the United States that would qualify as jungle?
Louisiana.
I was gonna say, like does swamp count as jungle?
It might as well be jungle. So yeah.
And I mean, all I can say is, like, all right, well,
Hawaii. There you go.
Right.
There's
a difference between Hawaii and Louisiana, though. I can pull the numbers and say.
Go to Hawaii.
So I don't know if percentage of swampland or jungle land directly correlates to SAT scores, but there seems to be some connection.
You might be onto something there. So.
Because I think, you know, when you talk about like Hawaiian jungles, I think they count as island first versus like.
Well, it's mountain with jungle on it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. So, but yeah, like there's been a lot of books out over the years. Why is Africa continually fucked up? And like the common theme there is just, it's really hard to live there. So, you know.
So don't.
Well, if you get born there, you don't have a fucking choice. What are you gonna do? Pack up and fly to Mexico and hop the fence? Is that what you want, Jeff?
I don't say that. People do.
People do. Not for long.
Man, that is something that I do have to say. Like, our Denver mayor has decided to pipe up and say, like,
what did he say? Because that, I did not go on the Twitter to see what he actually said, but it was on the fucking news today.
He said, I would go to jail to protect the immigrants that are here.
I wonder how his constituency feels about that.
Well, I said that I'm on board with that, and make sure that he goes to Gen Pop. Because
not AdSeg.
Right.
So, yeah.
Because, fuck that. I've made my points clear on this. Like, if you cannot... The thing that pisses me off, all right, is there is a common thing that they like to say out there. Is like, well, actually, illegal immigrants commit crimes at a far lower rate than regular citizens. Like,
most actually, of them do. Yeah, but the ones that don't are really bad.
Well, that's not even the point.
Yeah.
Your people that are here illegally are all batting 1,000. Here's the thing: is being here illegally is a crime. You start with this. And the idea of wiping that off the record and saying, "Oh, well, that one couldn't count," it's like, no, it counts because you broke the law to be here.
Yeah, I think like most of the time you're confusing like violent criminals there. So
yes,
yeah,
and the Tren de Aragua guys aren't just fucking up Denver; they're fucking up Tennessee. Tennessee is yeah.
Who are these guys? Is that the Venezuelan dudes? Yeah. See, and that's the thing. Like, I was actually watching this policy thing the other day about like what is the Department of Interior? What is the Department of Fatherland Security?
Right.
Yeah, God, man. I know, dude. So, and like, it's not going to get smaller, which sucks. Because I think they should disband the TSA to bring this full circle. But whatever. Anyway. So they were like talking, it's like, well, physically, and you just don't have the organizational heft to actually be able to round everybody up. So what would they do? And so they were talking to a couple of the officials in this thing. They said, oh no, we have a fucking list. So we have a huge list of people who have been ordered out of the country. And so you start there.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like tens of thousands of people long. So, and what happens when you start enforcing that list is everybody sees you enforce it and thinking like, am I on that list? So if I'm on that list, I might want to go back and then come in through the front door. So, because if the front door stays open during this process and you're not on that list, guess what? You'd be all right. So, yeah.
Right.
So,
right.
It was like, oh, that's pretty clever. I hadn't thought of that.
Well, that's the thing is you have it documented. That's the thing is like this is why you can't hang out at Reddit. This is why you can't.
Reddit is useless, Jeff.
This is why you can't hang out on Blue Sky because
I wouldn't even go there. Because it's like saying you're gonna go like drive past the McDonald's to hit the Burger King. Come on, man.
Listen, I get you.
Man, I haven't been to the King and
don't.
King's fine.
Oh, their fries suck.
I never get their fries, so I can't.
Since I worked in Wyoming and.
You had to? Because that was the only place in Bill, Wyoming, or in Douglas that was open? Yeah.
No, it is like you will get 1,400 updudes to go in there and say, what's going to happen is soldiers are going to go door to door. And
that's not happening.
No, let me continue.
Yeah.
Is
you could have just like round up all the brown people.
That is exactly it. They say they're not going to check. If you don't look a certain way, you're gone.
Right. That's so ridiculous, man.
1,400, 1,500 upvotes. And the people saying, like, are you fucking retarded? Content deleted. Right? The moderators on there were just like, we don't, it's like, that's racism.
No, this is a place where we actually promote fear mongering amongst those who.
There are people who believe this shit.
Oh, I know there's people who believe this shit. So, like, I know people who believe this shit, but they're, like, not, like, Reddit bad about it, but they're like, well, I don't know what he's going to do. And it's like, well, let's go find out.
Right.
Okay, so there's a procedure in place, and if you're just turning, resources from one initiative to another, okay, then, yeah, you can start chewing through that list. And honestly, I'm fascinated by the announcement the other day of 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico unless they get the fentanyl out. That was brilliant. That was fucking brilliant. Now, and it just comes. Now, here's the thing about him that's changed already, man, which makes me a little bit more optimistic, is I don't think he's going to leave Florida. I think he's going to actually go live in the White House, man. So... And he doesn't tweet. He doesn't say shit. He doesn't get on Truth Social. He has his people put things out. So
they put out the statements, the actual
We put out actual statements.
good old-fashioned statements on letterhead.
I know, and it's just like, okay, I don't know who's babysitting you, but whoever that person is, she needs a raise, because you're doing a good job. So,
And what's funny is I have seen Trudeau, and I have seen
it's so stupid, man. It's so bad.
Oh, okay. So Paul Bear's gonna fucking demolish that guy in a year when
this?
That's his opposition candidate.
Oh.
That's
I don't even know what the Canadian parties are, Joe. I'm assuming there's some form of left and right, but I couldn't tell you what they're called.
yeah. You get in there, it's like, so what are your parties? It's like, well, it's parliamentary. So what is that? It's like, okay, so we've got the Onions, we've got.
We were being on rutabaggers up there, man.
We've got the Onions, we've got the Padlocks, we've got
the
like
Boilermakers.
That's Purdue.
Oh, yeah, you're right, eh? My uncle went there. It's a fine school.
But the funny thing is, both he and I will never.
I can't pronounce her name.
You're talking about from Mexico.
Yeah, I cannot pronounce her. It's German. It's weird.
Well, she's Jewish.
Oh, what? Okay. Yeah.
So a Mexican Jew is running their country, and both of them afterwards they said, "We both had good talks with Donald Trump."
My understanding is that there was some fake bullshit that was put out about what the Mexican lady said.
That is
But
correct.
she said that she's gonna throw tariffs back at us.
She did. She did.
Yeah, but she said that she and Donald Trump had talked about fentanyl.
Worked it out.
And they were 100% on the same team. Yeah, okay.
Correct.
It's just that guy up there.
Trudeau, even Trudeau, he said like
That guy.
we had a good talk. We had a good talk.
And Donald Trump told him he was useless. You remember that? He was like, "There's no point in talking to this guy." You're like, "Come on, man." So I did see him on the Twitter the other day getting roasted for his attendance at Taylor Swift's concert. So,
There you go.
yeah, he did. You know, there was some other bullshit, Canadian bullshit going on, and he was like, "No, it's a day for me to spend with my daughters, eh?" so it's Taylor Swift.
I don't even know what's yeah. So anyway. that dude's polling is
Oh man, like you can see the missile in the water, heading right for his battleship, man. So I mean, it's like right there. So it's avoiding other ships to hit his.
right. It's got fins.
It's got fins.
Yeah, that's
Weird, man.
I'm with you here.
But I'm curious about like, is he actually going to do the tariffs, or is he talking a game right now to see like, because you could fix a lot of that border problem if you got the Mexico lady on board with it.
I guess
Be like, there's a southern border down there. It's full of jungle. You don't want to stay on that one. So,
Right.
But we will make you stay on that one.
right.
So, and all you got to do is shut down that one airport, that's 30 miles away from one of the border crossings in Arizona or something like that.
Yeah.
Where all the international guys come through and they just wait outside the fence. So, it might be fixed. Might fix it real fast. So,
Well, I mean, Trump did say. I mean, he did thank me for my letter. When I said like, all right, so you attach the explosives to the bones.
what if they start welding rebar to themselves?
All right. I don't have anything else
I
to
don't
say.
either, yeah. So, let's see, the border will completely turn into fucking the Thunderdome.
You know what? No, the problem is they're going to find a better solution. And my
They are.
perfectly great solution that would have cost billions and cost so many lives is going to go away. And,
They just put the fence back up.
right?
It's like, I didn't know it's down. Yeah, let's try that first.
How are you doing this?
Why are you doing this?
So how are you enforcing it? It's like, we just drive by every now, checking for holes.
Right, yeah.
And when they have holes, we fix them.
Right. You don't need to weld things to yourself. All right, I'm Pat.
I will.
I'm Jeffrey.
We're hitting the bud.
All right.